As Banyana Banyana have qualified for the last 16. It's the very first time that this has happened for the men or women, and we've been celebrating. Like I said a little bit earlier, we had Robert Marawa from Marawa Sports Worldwide, Racha 947. He hosted a really awesome screening. We had listeners over here. We had all the prime medians. And yeah, here's a little bit of the atmosphere that you may have missed out on if you weren't in the building. You can just hear the atmosphere. You can hear the passion from everyone who was here at Prime Media House. And we had Robert Marawa leading us in song, leading everyone, the team as well, shouting. I don't think I've ever seen you that stressed in my life, bro.
Jeez, I don't even think I'm going to have a voice for the show tonight, Zweli. So great to be on your show. My goodness, I mean, what a morning. What a morning. I think we went through all the different emotions that you can ever think of. There was hope, and then the hope was diluted, and then, hey, there was an own goal, and we were back at it, and then it was diluted again, it was off.
Yeah.
And then the magic, man.
Yeah.
You know, the magic happens, which is what Banyana did, was switch on that magic at a time when games before, the opposition was switching on the magic.
Right.
This time around, we decided in those critical stages, as the coaches call it, of the game, to then get that goal. And, you know, Tembi Khatlana did it. I know, much maligned because people have been saying she's very selfish with the ball. But coaches will tell you, you need selfish players.
You do. That's what also I wanted to get at, what you were speaking about in the beginning, that, you know, we've gone from a very tough defeat against Sweden, and then there was that heartbreaking draw, of course, that we had Argentina where we led 2-0, and then to come from behind at the beginning, at the onset, and then go ahead. Now we're back and it's 2-2 all over again. What does that say about the ladies and their resilience and their will to win within, I guess, the toughest of circumstances, given that also the send-off before, there was a lot of, you know, stuff happening off the field as well?
Yeah, Zweli, I think a critical point, because what was their mental state is the big question. But the mental state was switched on today. You could tell that there was more game management. You could see as well from the bench how Desiree Ellis was running her charges.
Yeah.
And the communication. There was a stage. I mean, I'm no lip reader professionally, but you could tell, you know, she was trying to direct the four to almost move up. So when you're doing that, then you're bringing the attack back onto the Italians, because remember as well, in European football, there's a tendency to almost look for favors and trip and fall and so on. And the referees, they do buy it. They do buy it sometimes. You almost felt like we were being on the other side of the referee's decisions. But that aside, I just think that having Nokumatlau back in the starting lineup, her experience through all of these years, and I mean, she's a former striker, so a highly commendable defender right now, and very vocal at the back. There's a lot of respect that she commands. And sure, I don't know how many times, you know, the heart dipped up and down today. But you were correct, though, in your intro to say, guys, you know what? We've entered a moment in history. We've entered a moment in history where women's football, I hope, is taken seriously. I might have said as well, in your sister station at 702, our sister station, Mandy was saying, what does this mean? And I said, it means let's get a professional league, because that's where we need to also respect the ladies. Is that, dude, we are we're in the last 16, and we don't have a professional league in South Africa. We don't. A lot of those countries, you can tell from the conditioning that they have, that they have their job is football. Our ladies have to double up. A lot of them, especially those that are playing in the Hollywood Super League here at home, they've got to double up. Football is not their number one priority. But for us to get this far, again, I say, from the minister's side of things, and he knows, he's got to crack the whip. We got to professionalize the game. If we can get to the last 16 without a professional league, can you imagine what we could do in terms of world football if we had it.
Yeah, we could be world beaters, and already
Yeah.
we're starting to show those signs just a little bit, like you said, without a professional league, per se. And just one last thought. It's something that you had mentioned as well right after the match. There's been a lot that has been said about Desiree Ellis. I've probably been one of the people who may have said something on the sly and been like, well, what is happening over here? Things need to change. But there we have it. She is the coach. There's clearly something that she understands, and that's why we aren't in her position sometimes.
Zweli, multiple times CAF African Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Not South African, African.
African, yeah.
Endorsed by CAF. Hey? She or he who controls football in Africa. And being endorsed as that, and that is why I think also sometimes we forget that we walked into this World Cup as African champions. We weren't walking in like we've done before, 2019, where we were participating and nobody took us seriously. So I think for them to have walked in and worn that jacket that says we are African champions, then we are here to compete.
Yeah.
And you dive into a historical moment. We're only for the second time in FIFA World Cup women's history that there's 2 African teams that have made it into the last 16.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes for the continent. But hey, from Zanzi.
Of course, the next match
man.
is against the Netherlands. That's
Sunday.
this weekend on Sunday. How are you feeling about that one? I mean, we clearly should be riding some sort of a wave of confidence after this. And I can imagine just the outpour of love from the country as a whole, because there was a little bit of division in some parts. I'd imagine that would help them as well, psyche-wise.
No, it will. I
Yeah.
mean, let's not beat about the bush here. Netherlands,
Yeah.
former world champions. This is a nation that they know their football.
Yeah.
If I say to you, I know you love your football. Who's the current coach at Manchester United? Is he a man from Holland? He's a Dutchman. Yeah.
Yeah,
And look at the
Ten Hag.
transformation that is made
Yeah.
in that team. So the Dutch, they play their total football. And they, it's a similar way, and that's why they have an active community to make sure that the style of play triggers from both the men and the women's team. And that's what they will bring onto the table. It's simple, it's basic. They need to go onto that field believing that they're just playing against another team. They must not play against the Netherlands. They must play another football game against another opposition, and don't try and put it in your head that you're playing against the Dutch.
Yeah.
Play against, I don't know, they must just think, whoever wears orange, with whoever, wasekasi. That type of mentality takes you through so that the fear issue is taken away completely.
Yeah, they've got absolutely nothing to lose in this one.
Yeah.
They go with no pressure on their backs. They're playing a team that has won the World Cup as well, and also a team, I guess, that finished top of their group against the United States, who are, I think, 2-time defending champions as well. So, yeah, that should be a really, really big one. But, Robert, thank you so much for your time. We'll catch you again 6 p.m. on MSW.
You know the story as well. Thank you so
Yes.
much, man. Keep up the energy. Love your show.
Thank you very much. That's Robert Marawa.